News headline: May 29. He has set up traps for Tinubu. Shehu Sani lists Buhari's failure. Welcome to today's news, and thank you for tuning into this channel. Please listen to the end. The news details. Following President Muhammadu Buhari's nationwide address, where he claimed to have left Nigeria in a better condition than he met it in 2015, former federal lawmaker Shehu Sani has listed the failures of the outgoing president. Sani, who represented Kaduna Central Senatorial District in the 8th National Assembly, said Buhari would not want Tinubu to do better than him. He noted that Buhari is leaving behind a country without any economic direction, a failed security system, over 3 million internally displaced persons, IDPs, 366,000 refugees in neighboring countries, and a country not restructured. He accused Buhari, among other things, of granting waivers to the rich and impoverishing the poor, closing the borders for those who import bags of rice on motorcycles, and permitting those who use ships. He led the country without any economic direction. He presided over a government that failed to secure the life of Nigerians. 63,000 dead, 3 million IDPs, and 366,000 refugees in neighboring countries, he tweeted. He failed to restructure as he promised. He granted waivers to the rich and impoverished the poor. He closed the borders for who import bags of rice on motorcycles and permitted those who use ships. He built magical pyramids that disappeared after 3 days. He left incomplete projects with huge debts to service for decades. He enabled, enriched, and reinforced the cabal for 8 years. He appointed and retained failures and rewarded them with extensions. He was weak in taking decisions and runway when it's tough. He has no house in London, but made London his home. He left behind record inflation, record devaluation, record unemployment, record fall in GDP, record figures of poverty, and record plunder of state resources. He left behind a nation with 60 million people suffering from mental illness. He is leaving behind the health workers on strike. He set up traps for the next government in order to make his own look better. Buhari government is nothing to write home about, but let's just thank God that the government of Buhari is coming to an end tomorrow, and a new government is coming in, which we pray that it's better than this one, May 29, 2023. Nigeria will always be Nigeria, because the next regime too will come into power and do the same thing. They always leave it worse than they met it. Remember that during Goodluck Ebele Jonathan's tenure, we were thinking it was worse, not knowing that the coming administration was going to make everything even worse than it was. And when Buhari came into power, the thing became very worse than the previous administration. So we hope that this one coming will not even be worse than Buhari own, because we don't know what we call that again. It's going to be more than worse. They always leave it worse than they met it. That's why they always want a weaker brain to take over from them. From 1960 to now, there has been nothing commendable to write about the future of Nigeria. Buhari is a total failure indeed. He led the nation to the worst state ever in the history of leadership. He rewarded failures in his government with national awards before leaving. The worst president in the history of Nigeria. Even in his grave, Buhari will hear the cry of millions of Nigerian bloods for God to judge him as he led the nation, leaving it in a worse and horrible shape. Posterity must judge President Muhammad Buhari. He's a deceiver and a big liar under the guise of my Gaskia. Nothing can be overstated concerning this outgoing regime, but they have become the mirror to measure the performance of the incoming government. Even being the same party put upon them a burden, so much is at stake for Bola Tinubu, because the performance to erase the bad experience under Buhari has to be deliberate, decisive and quick. Otherwise, Nigerians will raise up against any passive bad governance in this dispensation. The Shehu Sani has said that President Buhari has set up a trap for Tinubu because he has left a lot of bad records. So when the new incoming president comes in, it will look like he is doing nothing, because they will first have to amend all the bad things that Buhari has done, that he has left. Is it insecurity? Is it about the exchange rate? He even closed the border at a point, but the border was only closed to the poor. Well, while the rich were still importing things. Those that imported on motorcycles were banned, but people that use ships, they were still bringing in things from Nigeria. Even with the fact that he closed down the border. His government was full of corruption, and he took it from bad. He took the government from bad to worse during his tenure. It was very worse because lives of Nigeria were wasted. Is it about the Fulani headsmen, the killings and the likes? Well, it looks like he has set a trap for Tinubu, and I just hope Tinubu answers this well. What's your view about this news? Please share your view in the comment section, and don't forget to like, follow, and also click on the subscribe button to subscribe and the bell for more updates. Thank you.